Listen, my friend, you don't need to be born rich. You don't need to have connections. You don't need to be special. You don't even need to be smart. But if you're focused and willing to execute, you can make $1 million within the next 36 months or so. And you can actually get it done faster than that, because I made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product, doing a little over 900K in about 18 months. And I'm gonna show you how in this video. So this isn't any theory. This is a framework built by results used by real people. I have a 6-part framework to making $1 million, and realistically, if you're starting from absolutely nothing, you can get this done within the next 18 to 36 months. Now it took me about 1.5 years, 18 months, but I'm gonna give you a little more leeway and stretch it out to 36 months, 3 years, because straight up, I just don't know if you work like I do, but the more action and the faster action that you take, the faster that you will get results from this. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you just lack the focus to even get this done anyways, and you're probably looking for like easy passive income and side hustles and all that crap. So if that's you, please feel free to just click off of this video and go watch some more of those easy passive income and the easy side hustles and the laziest ways to make passive income online, and see how that crap works out for you. But this 6-part framework, it works if you work it. So let's get into it. Now, part 1. If we have a 3-year $1 million mindset, right? The first thing that we're going to be needing is clarity on our objective. Now, majority of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, they have no clarity whatsoever. They're just running around like a chicken with their head cut off. But if we know that we have 36 months, basically, to make our $1 million, what is that actually? That's $27,778 a month, or $6,410 a week, or $913 a day, right? Now, this is your target. It's not magic, it's math. And it's mind-boggling to me the amount of people that don't even do the simple math to break down the big numbers. All that they're doing is focused on this big number, and then they get discouraged because the number just looks so huge. But when you actually start to break it down for what it is, $913 a day, it's more than attainable. Now, I know that it may seem like a far stretch right now, but once you get moving and start taking some action, you'll see how attainable this is. And something that I do in anything that I first start off, or like in any product creation of mine, my first target is $1,000 a day, right? Because I'm like, if I can't get something to $1,000 a day, then I don't even want to waste my time with it. I'm telling you, this is very possible. Making this in a month, it is very, very attainable. And when you break big goals into small numbers, they get real fast. So now the question becomes, what vehicle can get me to this $913 a day without a big team, something that I can do by myself solo, where I don't need to take out loans, where I don't need any investors, and where I don't need luck, right? So part 2 is now we have to pick the right vehicle. So what is our vehicle going to be? What is going to be the thing that is going to take us to our desired situation? So what's going to be the right money vehicle? And we already know it's not going to be a job, but there's going to be 3 vehicles that can take you there. And the 3 models that work for most solo entrepreneurs are going to be a high ticket service, a digital product, or affiliate marketing. All right. And guys, this pen is slipping out of my hands. I use coconut oil to moisturize my cuticles, and it's got this pen just slipping out of my hand like crazy right now. But we have a high ticket service, digital product, or affiliate marketing. Now, the reason why I say these 3 money vehicles are because a high ticket service, digital product, and affiliate marketing, that's something that somebody can do as a solopreneur. You don't need any team for this. So with a high ticket service, that's you selling your skills at a premium, whether that be in something like copywriting, or if somebody is has editing skills. Or if you're a consultant, right, you can do consulting. Somebody might have a background in ads or design, right? It's literally could be anything that you know how to do. You can charge a premium for your skills and you can sell that service to somebody else at a high ticket. Digital product. All right, digital product. These can be things like ebooks, courses, memberships. And this membership, this is a big one right here, because a lot of people, they're not looking at a membership as if it is a digital product. But this is what I need you to understand. If the deliverable of anything is digital, then it is a digital product. So even if you have a high ticket service or something like consulting, if the deliverable of it is digital, then you can turn that consulting into a digital product. You can have a high ticket consulting or coaching program to where 100% of the deliverable is online, and then it is now a digital product. A lot of people, they're not seeing that. All right, but you have other digital products like templates, guides, or whatever. All right, but the only three big money makers, I would say to just stay in this zone right here between ebooks, courses, and memberships. And the great thing about digital products is that you only have to build them once. You can do the work once, implement it into the proper system. And system, SYSTEM, stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. And you can get paid forever because the system will be working for you 24/7, 365. And you can get your time back and make more while working less. And then the third vehicle, like I said, is affiliate marketing. All right. And affiliate marketing is basically just when you sell somebody else's product. So you sell somebody else's product, but not your own product, right? And you basically get some type of commission from you selling somebody else's product. All that you have to focus on is audience building and then converting that audience, but there's no fulfillment required on your part because it's somebody else's product that you're selling. Now, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of being an affiliate for somebody, but I'm just telling you this is something that you can do to whereas you don't have to take any time, energy, effort, or capital on creating something. You can just use what's already freely available to you, and you can find somebody else that has an offer, and then you can partner up with them and be like, hey, I can sell your stuff. They can give you affiliate for that, and then you get a percentage of each sale that you make. But even though I'm not the biggest fan of this, for me, I'm not against being an affiliate because I do make money in affiliate marketing. But the way that I prefer to do affiliate marketing is that I would rather be an affiliate of something that coincides with a product that I'm already selling. So let's say, for instance, I created a digital product that was helping people get in shape, that was helping people lose 20 pounds within the next 20 days, right? And let's say that I have some type of meal plan for them. Well, I could partner up with a meal prep company to whereas I can have an affiliate for the meals that I'm already helping and teaching and coaching the people that are buying my product to do, because it's like it goes hand in hand, right? So I'm like, okay, if I'm telling them to do this and these are the type of foods that they need to eat, why don't I go find a healthy food prep company to whereas they won't have to put any more time, energy, effort, or thought into getting this food, and then they can just go to this website, use my affiliate link, get whatever discount on the food, and then not get paid for that also. See, it's like a affiliate offer that goes with your core offer, but you're driving all that traffic to your business instead of somebody else's, because in affiliate marketing, you're still going to have to focus on building an audience, driving traffic to somewhere else in order to convert some of that traffic to sales. But I'm like, I would rather drive that traffic to my own business instead of somebody else's, and then on the back end, make some money from affiliate marketing. But all three of these work. The key is to focus and pick one. And that's where most people struggle with. They're trying to do so many things when focus stands for follow one course until successful. So pick one of these three and go all in for the next 3 years. If you're asking me, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you go the digital product route, because remember, you only have to do the work once. You can create it one time and then you can sell it over and over and over and over again once it's in the proper system. But whichever one that you pick, make a decision and go all in for the next 36 months. And now part three. Part three is that you want to build before you brand. Build before you brand. And the reason for this is because time is of the essence, and so many people are wasting time on trying to make everything perfect. They're wasting time on thinking on what a good logo should be, or what's a clever little tagline, or what's the perfect domain for a URL. Because my domain, it gotta sound cool. I need a cool sounding www.com. What should my colors be? Look, that stuff doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't print money. Offers do. And you need to obsess on your offer. And this is key too, because most people that are out here failing on building whatever type of business it is, especially these online businesses, they're thinking of ways that they can make money instead of thinking of ways that they can make an offering to the marketplace. And when you make an offer to somebody, that means that you have a solution to somebody else's problem. And then it becomes easy to sell it because you're simply just offering somebody to fix their problem. And your first 90 days should be spent on validating your offer, closing your first sale, refining your delivery, getting somebody a result, and repeating. That's it. Get paid, then scale. Your brand is built on results, not coloring, copy, and witty taglines and cleverness. Now, part 4 is going to be your first 100K. All right. Now, I'm not going to lie to you at all. I don't know if you can tell by now. I have this problem that I have to keep it honest with you, because I don't want to waste my time nor yours, because time is of the essence and we can't get any of it back. All right. So look, the first 100K is going to be a bitch. And anytime you hear me say the B word, I'm never talking about a woman. I'm either talking about something that is hard, or I'm talking about a man that acts like a bitch. Aren't we? I be like, man, all the bitches is dudes, man. But anyways, back to the first 100K. Look, why is this the hardest? Because you're building the plane while flying it, and that is very difficult to do. But here's what gets you to your first 100K. It's volume, iteration, and retention. All right, volume, iteration, and retention. So this is what I mean by this. So with volume, it's about getting more shots up. It's about getting your attempts up. It's about getting your practice in. It's about hurrying up and failing. So many people, they're scared of failing, and they don't realize that you're gonna fail. You're gonna mess up along the way. And failing is the only way to figure out what does work. And the amount of failure that you have to go through, I don't think most people even fathom it. And most people have no idea on the amount of failure that you have to go through. It's a necessary thing. So I like to say that failing stands for finding an individual lane. Right? Because the only way that you can figure out what does work for you, the only way that you can figure out your individual lane is through failing. You got to do it. And unsuccessful people, they have no clue on the amount of volume that somebody that they look up to, or somebody that they look at as an inspiration, or somebody that they look at as somebody that they would aspire to do similar things as. They don't know the sheer amount of volume that that person has put in to get the result that they can see. So the first time that I realized this was years ago. I used to be involved in this small niche in real estate called wholesaling. And the marketing that I would do for myself at the time was I was putting out these, they call them bandit signs on the corner of the streets. Have you ever been riding down the street, and especially in the hood, and you see a sign on the corner that says "We buy houses"? I used to do that stuff, right? And I met up with this one guy, and I was like, man, my phone's not ringing. I'm putting up these signs every single Friday, just like you're doing, but why are you getting all these deals and I'm not getting any? And he was like, well, how many did you put up? I said, man, I put up 100. And he just started laughing. I was like, what's so funny? And then he told me to hop in the car with him, and we went to a storage facility, and he opened up the door to his unit in the storage facility, and it was just thousands and thousands and boxes and boxes and boxes of signs. And he was like, you put up 100, right? I was like, yeah, I put up 100 a few weeks ago. He puts up 10,000 a week. I was like, oh, that's why your phone rings way more than me, because he's doing way more volume than I'm doing. And then I just came to find out, in every single thing, every single endeavor, everything that I pivoted in my business along the years, it all comes down to that volume thing. Even when I used to do cold calling to get business, it was a volume thing. It was like, yo, people were wondering why I was becoming more successful than them or getting better results than them. And I was like, yo, I learned my lesson from my homeboy Rob with the signs. I just make more phone calls than everybody else. And then everybody else that was doing better than me at the time, guess what? They were making way more phone calls than I was. But outreach is tough. And that's why I love content creation, because you can attract people to you. You can make stuff that you already know your intended avatar is looking for, and you can make that stuff for them, and then they will come to you instead of you having to outreach to them. But it still comes down to a volume game. It still comes down with getting those attempts up, or like I say, I equivalent a lot of stuff to shooting in the gym because I used to play basketball. You got to get those shots up. You got to get those field goal attempts up. And people that are struggling with their content, they simply don't do enough volume of content also. And when I say volume of content, I don't mean like a posting schedule. I mean, they're not even working on it every single day. How can you expect to become a better communicator? Because in entrepreneurship, all that you have to do is use your imagination to come up with a solution to somebody's problem in the marketplace, and then effectively communicate that you have a solution to them. But if you're looking to do that through content creation by becoming a contentpreneur, somebody that uses content to drive traffic to their business, but how do you expect to get better at content if you're not doing any volume of content? You're not working on it consistently, yet people think that they are somehow going to get better. It comes down to volume. And so many people, they think that it's quality over quantity, and that's their excuse. Well, I'm just making my stuff so great. It just has to be perfect. I want to make quality content, but you haven't done sheer enough volume of quantity to even realize what quality is. So first, it's going to be quantity over quality. Therefore, you can figure out what is quality. And then you can either just do quality, or once you figure it out, the best case scenario is to do a quantity of quality, because now you know what quality is. But it all comes down to volume. That's the only way that you get better through something, is through quantity, and by failing through that volume also. Now, with iteration, you got to be testing, you got to be learning. You have to be willing to adjust, test, learn, and adjust. You can't get emotional. You have to be able to detach yourself from the results. And then retention is about keeping your customers happy, so they go out and they start to spread the word about the good stuff that you've done for them. Right, I like to call it evangelism. So this is what I mean by this. So let's just say that we're focusing on something like a digital product, right? And we're obsessing on coming up with a solution to somebody else's problem. Well, once we get that actual sale from somebody, then somebody gets the transformation, right? Because remember, as entrepreneurs, we're only in the problem-solving business. So if somebody buys a product from us, then they should get their desired result, which is that transformation. Well, then that person then becomes an evangelist for you. And this is why I say evangelism, right? So they become an evangelist for you, which leads to more people buying your actual product, and you start to get this flywheel effect going. Now, the reason why I say an evangelist is just a word that I like to use, but just think of it as an ambassador. And if you even can think of what an evangelist actually is, because it's typically used in like religious talk and whatnot, but it's just simply somebody that received the transformation and then they went and they spread the word. So that's how you start to get that word of mouth stuff going. That's how you start to get those referrals. That's how you start to get those testimonials, to whereas you can use those testimonials in your marketing, which will get you more sales, which will lead to somebody else getting a transformation, which will lead to somebody else becoming an evangelist, which will lead to you getting another testimonial that you can use in your marketing. And then it's just the flywheel just keeps on working and working on itself. And it just starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. And 100K, it may feel big right now, but once you hit it, your brain rewires and you stop aiming for enough and you start aiming for leverage. And that's where the real scale begins, which is part 4, right? We need to scale without breaking, right? We need to scale without breaking. So what do I mean by this? Once you're making a consistent, I'll say 8 to 10K a month, right? Then you can start to scale by using that income that you now have for leverage, whether that be for outsourcing certain tasks or for delegation and whatnot. You can now afford to use certain softwares to automate stuff. You can afford to maybe delegate or outsource certain tasks, whether that be with a virtual assistant, or if you want to go and get some type of employee, or even if you're just using freelancers or whatnot. You might want to get an editor to help you with your content. You might want to get a thumbnail designer. You may want to get a copywriter, right? You may want to get a virtual assistant to help you with the mundane day-to-day tasks that just are either annoying and you don't want to do them anymore, or they take away from your time. But when you are automating stuff, when you are delegating stuff, when you are outsourcing stuff, you want to use that time to work on your business. You don't want to use that time to just go and watch Netflix on the couch or something like that, right? Because then you're just wasting money. But you want to use some of that capital to buy back your time, since you're the one doing everything. So you can either outsource, automate, or delegate some things so you can focus on the money generating activities, not the MWAs. And I call MWAs minimum wage activities, right? So a lot of times when you're starting off as a solopreneur, you're doing everything, and you have to do everything because you don't have the capabilities or the means to get any help for real, right? But a lot of that stuff that you're doing along the way to your first 100K, that's not in your zone of genius. So as soon as possible, as soon as you are able to delegate some of those tasks out, whether it be through delegation or automation, do it so you can stay in your mode of genius for as long as possible, so you can focus on the revenue generating activities instead of the minimum wage activities. And off the top of my head here, this wasn't number 4. We're on 5, right? So this is number 5, right? Scale without breaking. And the reason why I say without breaking is because a lot of people, they don't want to let go of certain stuff. So as they are scaling, they actually end up breaking because they can only do so much. But when you're thinking like this, you can scale without breaking. And you need to start thinking in systems, right? And remember, system, SYSTEM, saving yourself time, energy, and money. So once you get to this point, this $8,000 to $10,000 per month, you really, really want to lock in on building out those systems and getting those systems to work on autopilot, so you don't have to do so much of the work. Those systems can do the work for you. And a system that you can start implementing right now, immediately, right? Say everything that we do in business is starting with our avatar. And we only create content for our avatar. So we start to become an authority in the space, right? So then an algorithm like YouTube will start to categorize your content because it knows who it is that you make content for, which will then lead to them using their organic traffic sources, which will be the homepage, the search results, suggested, and some of that word of mouth, that evangelism, right? Like my content, I don't even have the biggest YouTube page yet, but my content, I get the stats and I can see in my analytics, my content gets shared thousands of times per week. That's some of that evangelism that I was talking about earlier, right? But starts to use its organic traffic sources to get in front of more people that fit your actual intended avatar. Like I said, you mix that with this right here, man, that's a first system that you can take to get to a high 6 and 7 figure level alone right there. And now that'll be working for you 24/7, 365. And you start to get that flywheel effect as well. And then all that you would have to focus on is creating that content for the intended avatar, right? Just feed the beast. The beast gets bigger over time, and it starts to compound on its own and get bigger over time. And you start to make more while doing the same amount of work, or you can actually do less work because you have all the previous work that you've already done working for you every single day. It's crazy. But the goal is to protect your time. You want to be a CEO, not a task junkie. And when you're thinking like this, as you scale, then you'll get your time back to where you can creatively think and stay in your mode of genius to think of more ways to increase your revenue in your business. And then part 6 is what actually gets you to the 6 O's. 6 O's make a million, right? What is actually going to get you to the 7-figure mark. And as simple as this sounds, this is the sole reason why a majority of people can't succeed. And it comes down to focus. Remember, follow one course until successful. If I give you a 36-month plan Most people can't lock in and focus on one thing for 3 years. They can't do it. That's why a majority of people fail. They jump from idea to idea. They get bored. They chase what's sexy instead of what works. But look, if you just focus and do these 7 things of picking a lane, building an offer, selling every week, improving relentlessly, document the process, stack the wins, and stay the course, it's easy to get numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Credit at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community and entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only a few bucks a day to join right now, literally less than a cup of coffee per day. So go ahead and click the link down in the description to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm telling you, this stuff is very simple, and that's the beauty about it all. Like, a lot of people, they don't realize how simple success is. They think it's a bunch of fancy stuff that comes with it, but no, the simple stuff scales and the fancy stuff fails. And then those same people think that it's about luck. It's not about luck. It's about execution. It's about focus. It's about commitment over convenience. So ask yourself this: are you willing to go all in for the next 36 months? Are you willing to suck for the first 6 of those months, or the first 12 of those months, or the first 18 of those months? Are you willing to build something real instead of chasing easy? Because if you are, I just gave you the roadmap. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here about how you can literally become money, so money attracts you instead of you chasing money. It's Credit at the Top.